Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be an absolutely shocking review of the Logitech G309. I mean, I have never gotten a Logitech mouse early to review, and this unit was not sent out from Logitech. I can't tell you how I got it, because they said they would cut one of my fingers off, and I need all of my fingers to review these mice. But this is a new mouse from Logitech, and as the name suggests, it's kind of in that G305 series. Like, it's not going to retail at a crazy price. I believe it's $75, which is around the weight of this mouse. But don't click off of the video because of the weight, because similar to the G305, there are plenty of ways to modify the weight. My current unit is at 72 grams with this lithium-ion AAA battery. A lot of you guys know about this tech from the G305 and a AA adapter. But one of the features advertised with this mouse is that it weighs 68 grams, presuming you use power play, because then you won't need any battery whatsoever. And theoretically, it is like a unlimited, you're never gonna have to charge it as a wireless mouse. So there is that gimmick, but for some of you guys who might be like holding on to hope that this is like a G Pro Mini, like lightweight mouse, it's really not. The shape is kind of odd. It feels like a GPXified G305, and I don't have a G305 on hand, unfortunately. I do have a GPX. Another mouse that a lot of you guys might think it's similar to is the Zaupin Z1 Pro, which is kind of like the Razer Orochi, but you see this gets much thinner, whereas the G309, it has very flat sides. It gets very wide towards the back. So if you do, like, it doesn't feel bad for fingertip. I can't say that this is just an awful feeling mouse. Is it modern feeling? Not really, but you can get it all the way down to 67 grams if you fingertip and remove this piece of plastic. I can't believe this thing fucking weighs 5 grams. And you can honestly claw it, but I don't like the way this feels for claw, honestly, especially in game. But as long as you're not making like palm contact in the little battery cover, it will feel all right and just lower profile. I know I said I didn't have a G305 like 30 seconds ago, but I went and I found my original G Pro Hero, and you can just see how different these shapes are. Like, they don't share any similarities whatsoever. If you're used to the G305, I'm not going to say this won't work. This does feel like a very just like standard Logitech's playing it safe, like fucking real shocker. But yeah, it does feel rounded. The experience with claw grip is definitely much better when you attach this hump piece, even though the weight balancing is very like back heavy, and this is something that if you fingertip towards the top of the mouse, you're just going to feel the back of the mouse like shaking around. So you kind of got to fingertip at this very wide point where the mouse almost feels like a bulb, but it's just wide. There's a ton of room. It's like an interesting experience with 21 by 11 hands. And yeah, shape wise, you can see it next to something like the Final Mouse Ultralight X in the small size, and it's definitely just a medium but very like bulky, compact mouse. But yeah, honestly, if you are using this with the default battery like AA configuration at 80 grams, it's just gonna feel like massively back heavy. But this is just Logitech's modern take on the G305. Like, this is their new budget wireless mouse that's just safe for everybody pretty much. And I would say most people, enthusiasts, are going to be able to get it below 70 grams, but nobody fucking uses power play. It's $120 for like the smallest mouse pad you can think of. It's just no good. But yeah, this is a mouse where I would say it feels pretty stable. I just raised my sense, and it's not an awful mouse experience. Like, the rest of the mouse does feel pretty dialed in. Regarding the sensor, the box does say it's the Hero 25K, but I've not been able to get in the software, so I can't really adjust like the LOD. I don't know if it has like the gaming surface mode. I honestly don't even know if it has 4K. I believe not, and that's mostly just due to this dongle looking exactly like the OG G305 dongle. I'm not saying it's using the same tech. This is obviously a refresh sensor, but this just doesn't give me the vibe it's a 4K implementation. And yeah, also just the fact this is a $75 mouse, they're trying to keep it a budget offering, like mass market appeal. I don't think 4K is really a feature they're prioritizing. They barely fucking brought that to the GPX. But yeah, moving on from the shape and weight for a moment, I'm going to talk about the clicks. These are using their Light Force optical switches, and this is a very light implementation, especially compared to the older batches of the GPX2. It's kind of crazy how similar these feel to like the old Omron like 50M switches Logitech used to use. But yeah, there's no issues with the switches creaking, which was a big issue I had with the G305. And you guys can just see how light they are, very fast fast rebound, very good spammability. Not really any issues with side-to-side wobble. Like, it is present, but I don't feel any grinding. It's just kind of to be expected. There is a bit of pre-travel, but it's what makes the click so light. I will do a quick sound test. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the scroll wheel click is definitely very heavy. That's like one thing I've noticed with this mouse. But yeah, that doesn't really affect me too much, hinder me in any way. There is a DPI button on the top, which is very rare nowadays. You don't really see that too much. And the side buttons are very good. They are large. They're in a good position, very spammable, really no complaints with them whatsoever. And yeah, honestly, all of the buttons on this mouse get a pass for me. You can see this has like the same glossy coating the G305 side buttons had, but these are just much better. They're less thin, and yeah, everything just gets a pass. The clicks do feel somewhat flat, I guess you could say, and you can kind of notice that in the sound test as well. But yeah, to me, it's all just fine. I mean, you can nitpick it. I'm sure this is not a release that a lot of people are going to be happy with, also because it kind of does kill the hopes of a G305 like lightweight modernized version. Like, no, this is what Logitech's giving you. And a G703 lightweight modern, maybe we can hold out hope. But yeah, this does feel kind of like it's not an egg shape, it's not quite a potato shape either, but yeah, it's a very safe shape from Logitech. It doesn't feel bad for claw grip, and it doesn't feel unusable for fingertips. So really, what more can you want from a mouse? As you can see, it has Bluetooth as well. That's an awesome feature. It has that transparent bottom, which I believe the Shroud mouse had. And I didn't even mention it, but the build quality is like a fucking tank. I mean, there's not going to be any flexing on this mouse, and that's to be expected. It does have a very grainy coating. It's definitely not the smooth rubberized coatings that we've been used to seeing, not like the coating on the GPX, but again, it doesn't feel bad. I haven't had any issues with it. It does seem to perform well with like moisture. And yeah, I don't think it's the best coating on the market, but it honestly gets the job done, and there's nothing that I can really complain about. The mouse does come with grip tape that I didn't apply. It seems to be different than the GPX grip tape. It's this like faux leather material. It doesn't, I imagine it's not going to be great, but that is an option as well. Besides that, I don't think you really get any extras in the box. Using this in game, it's definitely not something that is going to be in my main rotation, like I'm going to stick to long term, but I just can't say that I really performed like awfully with this mouse. I was able to adjust to it. It does have a very wide feeling, and it's just somewhat heavy, so it's different from most of the stuff on the market. I don't quite know who this is for. It's definitely not a high profile feeling mouse, but feels very nice for claw grip. The stock skates are very interesting. It does seem like Logitech switched up the material. This mousepad I have is definitely like heavily controlled, so it's not going to look fast, but on the Heian, this did play fine, but I presume switching it out for aftermarket skates when those drop will improve the experience, make the mouse feel a bit lighter in motion. But yeah, really nothing with the wireless signal felt off. I did test this on the Raiden, and I didn't get any spinouts, and I just did all of my testing on whatever the true default settings were. So yeah, I mean, Logitech's wireless tech is reliable. I believe this is the same tech as what is in the GPX1, and just in general, this mouse is safe, reliable, but it's not particularly innovative. It's not going to be my #1 recommendation to many people, but if you're interested in what the successor to the G305 is, that was the Logitech G309. I'm not going to give it the seal of approval just because I don't know, I just don't love it. It's similar to like the Razer Orochi, where it's like I understand there's a market for it, but it's just not something I am going to personally use. But yeah, that's going to be all for this video. Very shocking stuff. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, want to see more mouse reviews in the future, and let me know any questions you have. But yeah, that's going to be all. Very interesting mouse. Peace.
Oh my god! Oh my god!